Alright, hello. Uh, this is set here. Okay, it's good. We are talking and it feels really good. Okay, hello. This is the English session. Right now we are recording English session twice a day, and because of that, I'm kind of like warp stabilizing my footages, and it takes some time. Okay, because once you stabilize your video, you do need to export your video. Okay, and you cannot do like warp stabilizing and then color grading and sound effect in one place. Because of that, warp stabilizer warp stabilizer is kind of, I'm doing warp stabilizing in whole complete video, like 15 minute or 25 minute. Okay, so it takes so much memory RAM, and once I doing this, I cannot do anything. I cannot do attend lecture or anything, or I cannot touch my computer. Only just watching this progress bar and doing what software can do. Okay, because if I did something, it will be crash, and for my experience, it will definitely is going to be crash. So I didn't do that. Okay, I definitely take the precaution of not has to do anything when you are stabilizing your footage, because you have really low specs of machine. So yeah, right now I'm recording at a 30 fps with okay, actually in my cell phone doesn't have 24 fps format. Okay, it has a 30 fps and 60 fps, but actually you are switching to the there is a two standard for frame rates. There is a PAL and there is a NTES. What NTES for the American standard has a 30 and 60, and once you are entering to the European, they are using as a PAL standard for 24 and 50. But whatever, right now I am talking, it's kind of like a being really important to shoot at 24 fps, because once you have 24 fps you can shoot easily, and there is some sort of motion blur is happened when you are talking, so it feels really natural look, and it is kind of like really good. But I don't, my phone doesn't have such things. So yeah, and you are looking at a really bright area on my behind, and there is kind of like a really bright part. That is because of that we are setting focus to myself. Okay, so what is exactly, what if I focus on that particular frame? So if I focus on that, the whole frame rate is completely black and you couldn't see my face actually. Yeah, so this has happened once you focus on particular subject. So if I focus on my face, it completely blown out. Okay, so basically it focus and it gives a light at particular section of the frame. Okay, so I and if you want to remove this but you also want to see, so you need a light. Okay, so I don't have a light. Yes, right now there is a one light is available here. It's a natural light. Okay, and I am right now using those natural light. Okay, whatever, because it is really important to be a proper filmmaking technique to tell your story in really proper way, by cinematic way. Okay, yeah, that is really good, but right now it's not a cinematic. Right now I'm telling things for improving myself. So yeah, so what are we are gonna talk about? Yeah, we have so many content for talking about, and we do need to complete the module 2 lesson number 2. I already complete module 2 lesson number 2, and it's kind of like a really big thing about what is a narration, what is a script writing, what is the process happened when you are doing scripting things. So it's like a really big thing, and I'm kind of like I don't have a time for this, because if I am explaining all those things, it takes almost like a hour and a half. So might be I'm thinking like I'm doing this tomorrow in morning, but right now I am recording some of the things that I know, uh, which is kind of like a tips for tutorial tips, that what I have to do. So right now we are discussing about the 10 tips to edit faster in Premiere Pro. Yeah, I am kind of like facing some sort of problem in a Premiere Pro, because my video is kind of like being really takes too much time for everything. Okay, so if I want to render or I want to export, it takes almost like a 1 and 2 hour. Okay, and 1 and 2 hour is kind of like a really really faster speed. Yeah, before that, when I am using Premiere 2017, that couldn't support my graphics, so at that time when it tried to render or export, it takes almost like half of the day, like 6 hour or 7 hours. So it's for, if you are comparing previous, yeah, it's really good, but still, yes. So I am watching some of the videos to how to improve my I cannot improve my machine, because if I want to improve my machine, I need money. Okay, so if you give some money, I will definitely buy some of the amazing machine for my Premiere, and it will gives me really amazing things. But I don't have money. Yeah, but it doesn't think like I cannot improve my workflow. There are so many things which needs to be improved yourself. Yeah, I cannot improve my machine, but it's just like, okay, let's improve this machine in year after, but let's just improve yourself. That is you can do right now. So yeah. So what is the things? What is the 10 tips? First of all, use a proper hardware. Yeah, the first tip is telling the user proper hardware. Okay, they are saying is a processor, memory, graphics, and storage. First of all, if you are kind of like editing in a Premiere Pro is kind of like a big and heavy software. Yeah, and it's kind of like really crazy. Okay, so what are the things do you need for this smooth running for this Premiere? Well, I'm suggest a Premiere has a kind of like a minimum system requirement that tell us that they want 64-bit processor. Okay, now everyone has a 64-bit architecture processor. So yes, at least 8 GB RAM. Okay, they are saying. Okay, that's the minimum requirement. But do not go below 8 GB RAM. 8 GB RAM is more sufficient. Yes. Then use SSD, solid state drive. Yes, solid state drive, they are not saying is that you use SSD, but if you have a SSD, that means you can your processing speed was gonna really fast. Okay, because HDD has some sort of moving part, like it has a disk and it rotate and it gather the information, and there is some sort of mechanical things happened, and they are converting those data into the signal, and then they are displaying. So it's just like if you are using HDD, it transfer data almost be like 25 to 30 megabits per second. Okay, and it is not enough. Yeah, because sometimes you use 4K clip, and 4K clip is kind of like a big and heavy massive file size. Okay, So and right now you are seeing your file size is kind of like a 3.2 GB in 4K at a 60 FPS, and you are try to playing. It takes some several period of time, like 2 or 3 seconds, and then okay. So for the playback, it is okay, yeah. But if you are try to edit those clip, it's kind of like a really big things. You need definitely big gun, yeah. For that, I'm suggesting having SSD is kind of like really good, because whatever your system, whatever your CPU, GPU, whatever you have, if you have a slower if you have HDD, that means everything is slow. If you have STD, everything is became fast. So I'm not saying you need to invest like a 1 TB or 2 TB SSD. No, no. You just like try to use almost like 200 or 250 GB SSD drive, because it is really good. It is also cheaper, and 250 GB is had enough for every project. Okay, and you can save and you can everything. So 250 GB is good. Okay, and SSD is really good. Then there is a processor. What processor required, or minimum processor? Actually, they are not saying which processor, yes, but they say is almost like they required almost 8 core processor. Okay, 8 core processor is a really good, because 8 core means you have multiple core that is kind of like a supporting to each other and giving workflow really smooth. So having a 8 core processor is really good, and 8 core, I don't really understand what is exactly a 8 core. 8 core means, I'm trying to simplify this way, is you use almost like more than i7 Intel. If you are using Windows, then go to the i7 or i7 10th generation. Okay, whatever you buy, almost try to buy with higher generation, and 10th generation is really good. i7 10th generation is really good. I'm suggest you buy more than that. Okay, like i7 10 generation, or i9 5 generation, 6 generation, 7th, or i9 10 generation. It was like a mashallah. So you just like try to buy with 8 core i7 processor with higher generation. 10th generation was the really higher generation of the Intel family. So yeah, I didn't use MacBook, so I didn't really know what they processor use. So I cannot tell about that. Yeah. So what is GPU? Yeah, GPU means graphics processing unit, and obviously, if you are rendering your clips, you need a GPU. Okay, GPU is a kind of like a doing work as a CPU, but in terms of graphics, CPU cannot calibrate it all those things. So for that thing, GPU has to be important on that thing, because most of the time you are kind of like manipulate with the video files. Okay, and video files are not the exactly binary data, though those are kind of like bits and photons and pixels. Okay, so basically these are kind of like you see, CPU can handle also, but it takes some time. Okay, GPU handle those things very smooth, very efficiently, and very amazing. So I'm suggesting buy Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia is kind of like a really good. Yes, I have a AMD which is not really supportive. Yeah, right now it's supporting. Yes, but Nvidia graphics is really good. Yeah, or should I use Ryzen? Yes, AMD Ryzen is also really good. Uh, Try to find out how much graphics they provide. Okay, Premiere at least required 6 GB of graphics. Okay, So 6 GB was graphics was really costly. Yeah, really, it's really expensive. Yeah. So these are the proper hardware you need for this faster processing speed. But if you don't have such things, like if you don't have this kind of like a machine, because if you are buying this machine, it's kind of like a cost you almost like a 2.5 lakh. So it's really bit expensive, and most of the people doesn't have that. So just like try to improve other things. Yes, you just need to manage. Yeah, you just need to shoot not in 4K, shoot in 1080 more, and it will also gives you really nice and good. Yeah. Then second number tips is shoot to edit. Okay, what is exactly shoot to edit? That means you do need to pre-plan everything. Okay, because of that, pre-planning is really essential. Like you are making some sort of travel video and you are going to the Delhi. Okay, it's the capital city of India. So before you going to that particular location, you just need to study that what location I need to visit. You just go to the Google, search about that place, find out which location is really good for you, your subject, and how can you use your creativity. Do you take panning, tilt up, tilt down, hyperlapse, time lapse? What can you do for making this location even better? Try to analyze in your head, and just not to shoot everything. Yeah, because if you are shooting everything, then when you are editing, it is kind of like a bit really confusing, and you don't know what to put in or what to not, because once you are recording so many things, it's kind of like a hectic for you also, like which do you need to choose, like this is okay, this is also okay, this is okay, this is also not okay, and it takes some really high period of time for complete your video. Okay, so you just need to be pre-planned for everything. Okay, planning, yes, plan is really essential for everything. Whatever you are going, whatever you are shooting, pre-plan is really essential. Try to understand where you can go, what location is really important for you, what location is not really important for you, what can you do when once you are going to that location, what things you need to be managed, all those things. So do some sort of study, yes, because pre-planning is really essential. You just don't need to go there and just like shoot random clips and nothing. It's no one looking at that thing. Yeah, you just need to be proper storyline for that. So use low compression codec, high compression. Okay, there is also one thing. Yeah, if you are using a camera or a mobile phone camera or DSLR, whatever, you do need to look for which codec they are recording. Okay, codec, what is exactly codec? Codec means whatever your file is recording is being on the data. Actually, what is exactly, like right now I am talking, okay, and I'm talking in this video at 30 fps. So that means it takes photos at 30 frames per second. Yeah, 30 photos per seconds. Okay, so it has so many photos. Like photos means so many data. Okay, and then how this data has to be compressed. Okay, so in the video format, in very much devices, they have codec for compress such a multiple numbers of photos in one single file, and is that process has to be happen in codec. Okay, so if there is a camera has doing something which I don't really understand what is exactly codec. Yeah, I just little bit of know about what is exactly a codec. Okay, but codec is a term that used to compress your data. Okay, and once you have really compressed data, it's kind of like really difficult to edit, because highly compressed data, that means really, yeah, it's not gonna good. Yeah, so look for the codec. Yeah, but is this tip, it's for the professional. Yeah, I'm not going further, because of that most of the people doesn't have a really codec system. Actually, most of the people are using DSLR, and they are using as a standard picture profile, so everything looks really good and editing was really great. Yeah, but it happens just in it just happened like once in a while. Yeah, I'm not saying is that it happens every day. Yeah, because every codec has to be highly compressed, because whatever your device is, if you are using GoPro, drone, or DJI, or Canon, or anything, yes, they have a really standard profile for this compression codec ratio that has HSPV something. I don't know about this codec, but it is also really called compressed. Yeah. So how do we fix this thing? Yeah, you just like go to the Premiere, um, uh, include all your video in our library, select them all, right click and go to the proxy, and for this proxy you do need a media encoder. Yeah, that media encoder actually encode your video to extract all the codec and gives a really same codec which Premiere can do their work really easily. Okay, but it won't be happen a lot. Okay, uh, it just happen just once in a while. Okay, you do not need to worry about that, but since those things happen, these are the solution, like use proxy. Then drive speed. Yes, what is, I'm already tell you. Yes, what is exactly drive speed means HDD or SSD. So HDD is not good, yeah, for editing. Yeah, it slows your speed, trust me, because you are handling multiple footage, multiple camera footages, which has a really a massive file size, sometimes has 4 GB, 5 GB, and it was really edit those video file, which is also really unpractical, trust me. Yes, but you have to do that. So I'm suggest use SSD. SSD is really good. It gives you really. So what is SSD? How do you use SSD? Okay, if I have a 250 GB of SSD and 1 GB of HDD, then what is exactly? Okay, so your system needs to be run with the SSD. If you have a SSD, then make a drive, 100 GB drive for SSD, because your operating system has to be in SSD, because everything works really good. Okay, and then you have spare almost like 150 GB, then make another drive for 150 GB. Okay, install Premiere Pro, everything. Okay, that 150 GB you need to put your project file and footages all there. Okay, if 150 GB is kind of like a really not so good enough, then you need to go something like a really 500 GB for SSD. But I'm talking about 250 is kind of like a really good, because most of the project doesn't have more than 250 GB. Okay, sorry, more than 150 GB. So it is really good. So put your all your sound effects and footages and everything on this 150 GB. Do not use SSD for storing your data, like your photos, your movies. No, store in HDD, because HDD is kind of like a storing data. For kind of like a, you are storing such a data that has to be doing lot of work. Like if you are kind of like a Photoshop, then you use sets your photo at that SSD, and you need to do that. Okay, if you are graphics designing, that's so many things. Okay, so you just put all your data on that 150 GB. Okay, so that means your operating system is using SSD. That means your Premiere is also using SSD, and all your footage is in SSD. So that means the combination of all three, you are experiencing really smooth transition between in and out, and whatever you are doing, it's kind of like really good. Okay, so use SSD. It definitely increase your productivity and speed up your data management. Data management is a really essential. Yeah, because of that, if you are saying you are the videographer, or you are some sort of things that you use to make your video, that means you have a really big thing, like you have video, b-roll, sound effect, audio layer, audio layer, त्यानंतर LUTs, and and there is so many things. Yeah, you cannot know like this is I need. No. Yeah, so data management is really essential. So you need to set your data management with the footages. You need to set all your footages over there. Set your Premiere or project file in one place. Set your export or preview file in another folder. Set on the asset file. In the asset you are storing your PNG and PNG LUTs आहे, sound effects, music. It's really essential. So you are storing now, you are creating folder and set on that particular name on that folder, that you cannot you just trying to find and you cannot get those file. It is not gonna happen once you are doing this. So data management is really essential. I am kind of like a really data management. I set everything on the particular manner that I know where I can find my file, and I will get that because of this data management. Because if you don't have a data management, that means everything is in one place. Okay, so you are finding audio, your overlays, and your LUTs in single folder, and there are like a really bunch of things, like you don't know what is your project file and what is your After Effects file. Okay, and some sort of crash was happened over there, so it's kind of like a really messed up things can happen. Okay, so always use data management. Data management is really good for everything. Keep the asset library. I also mentioned asset. Yes, asset means the Premiere is using, or you are using actually, other than footage, that is called assets. Other than footage means you are using LUTs for color correction, color grading. That is called LUTs. Overlay, like you are using some sort of lens flare, or like some sort of PNG or graphics or anything, that is called overlay. Okay, if you are using text animation or graphics, it's like intro sequence वगैरह. So those are kind of like a transition packs. Okay, transition or over graphics. Then there is a transition, like you are switching your scene one to another. How do you switch here? You find some sort of really cool transition, and it is increase your productivity. So if you are using this, it is also be so. Use multiple assets, and keep the assets library, because assets library is really good, because you will know those things that you can do whatever with these assets library, and it will also improve your quality and everything. So you keep the asset library. Keyboard shortcuts. Yes, keyboard is really essential. Yes, once you are doing this, you cannot use every time mouse to click out one to another. Yeah, if you have a really speed up system, if you have a really nice system that can handle really good in everything, so use shortcut, because you are using this shortcut. That means you are improve your productivity and saving flash second of time which will gives you really boost up, and people are looking at you really says a professional way. Okay, so use keyboard shortcut, which is really good. I use for in and out for I and O. I use marker for M. I didn't really use too much shortcut because if I using shortcut, because my system is kind of like really low on everything, so it cannot apply on anything. Yeah. Creating or buying presets. Yeah, preset is really essential. Yes, and most of the creator, they are offer their transition pack or LUTs pack to the internet, and always try to know, always use different kind of LUTs and transition, because what is exactly LUTs? LUTs is kind of like a color grading process. Okay, but color grading process is kind of like a really difficult, that you are looking at each frame, and this kind of like this process has to be happen frame by frame in DaVinci Resolve. But you are cannot doing this because you don't have a time, you just need to quick and go. So at that time you are using these LUTs, that the creator is already created these LUTs for the proper emotions. They are already saying as use these LUTs for the happiness, use these LUTs for sadness and everything, not for the good look, for the emotions. Okay, so LUTs are really essential. Okay, then transition packs. Yes, transition is also really good, but there is a one transition I know, it's cut transition, and on the film they are using it, but you are kind of like doing some sort of logging video. At that time you do need a transition, which is also really good. Yeah. Assembly line method. Use a proper assembly line method. What is exactly assembly line method? Assembly line method, that means you need to do one thing on a time, not doing multiple things at a time, which is not good. Trust me, it's definitely not good. Yeah, like there are the slots in the Premiere, like you need to assemble there, you need to do your editing over there, you need to do sound effect and audio level over there, you need to color grade over there, and you need to export over there. So you need to be go step by step, just not to go just put the one clip and go to the color grading and then go back to the editing and then put another clip and go to the another sound effect and then some sort of things and go to the editing, and then there is no, you cannot do that, because once you are kind of like moving from one tab to another tab, it's not gonna look good. Yeah, because you need to do keep one thing at a time, because that is the only way to improve yourself and efficient work for your project. Okay, because it's not gonna, yeah, but just like you just need to mention that I just need to assemble my footage here, so I will assembling everything here, then edit, then whatever I need to cut, edit, whatever I'm not doing, I'm just looking and doing cutting and deleting, and that's the only thing. Okay, then there is a sound, which sound I need to use. Their sound is really good, his voiceover is really good. I need to manage the audio gain or not, I need to fix those things. Okay, then I need to go to the color, find out which color grade is kind of like really good, some sort of making color correction, and which is also really amazing. Then I'm switching to the export mode, and then I will export my footage into the particular format. Okay, so you need to do one thing at a time, and that is called assembly line method. Okay, because no one can do multiple things. If you are doing multiple things, that means you are completely slow. Okay, do not use those things while you are doing this. Distraction is really important while editing, while doing anything work. Distraction is not gonna good for everything. Okay, distraction, it feels like you are keeping away from your creativity, creeping away. It's one thing is that if a person is moving a car, then he need to put lot of effort for moving this car in startup. Like he need almost like a minute or 2 or 3 minutes to just move a car just inch, but after he moving, car is on the momentum. Okay, and you just need to keep doing this, and it slowly increase the speed of the car because the car is in the momentum. If you are in the momentum zone, then do not distract for those things. You just stop, then car will hit you, or if you are stopped, then car is also stop, and you need to put more effort to also running or moving this car. So if you are in the momentum zone, just do not just shut down your switch off your phone and email, and just be focused on your editing. That is most important way. Yes. Is their work is really essential, try to say just like I will do it after like 1 or 2 hour, just okay, and just like be focused on this thing. Okay, so do not distract and do your thing. So that is the 10 tips for the editing process to become really faster. I know these tips for the full-time filmmaker they are providing me, which is really great. I don't really follow. I follow some of the things, like which things you follow. Like I pre-plan, yeah, but pre-planning is, yeah, I plan everything, yes, but my system is really slow. Trust me, it's like if you are kind of like because my system is kind of slow. Whatever I'm using, I'm some sort of time thing I can stop. Like like right now, my system is exporting my video, and it takes almost like a 1.5 hours. So what can I do? I just need to sit and record. Okay, yeah. Data management, yeah, I do follow data management. Do I have an asset library? I don't have an asset library. I have sound effects and music. I don't have a LUTs and everything. Overlay, I have it, but I didn't really use those. And transition pack, I didn't really use transition. I use a cut transition or some of the default transition in Premiere, which is also really amazing thing for me. Shortcut key, I use shortcut key, but not too much. Because of that, my system is in the end system is slow. So if you are using this thing and you are feeling that why things not gonna happen, yeah. So yeah, creating or buying preset, dude. I cannot buy my machine. How should you recommend this? I'm downloading or buying this preset. I am using kind of like a crack Premiere software for free. So assembly line method, do you follow assembly line method? Once I assemble, then I edit. Okay, and then I go to the audio, and then I fix what audio is match up with my video clip, and then I shift to the color grade. This is my process. Okay, this is I have to do. This distraction is coming. Yeah, it is definitely distraction. Yeah, that is because of that my system is low, dude. How many times I tell you my system is low? It's like what things you need to expect. Whatever things gonna will definitely happen. So yes, I'm believing myself, and it's really important to believe in yourself, because so this is the 10 tips for shooting faster in Premiere Pro. Yeah, I also record I'm making some of the notes about low light shooting and FPV, and then there is a screenplay. There is a whole chapter over there need to explain. So I will explain this tomorrow. So right now my English session is really good, yeah, but there is a one problem I'm facing, that English session it takes too much memory. Yeah, I have almost like been 15 to 20 video of this English session, and it takes almost like 60 GB, yeah, of my laptop. So there is another way. You need to be compressed with the WinRAR file. Yeah, I'm trying to do this, but my system is because you cannot do one thing. Like if you are using Premiere and you are saying you are compressing your data, how things gonna manage, dude? It's not. Yeah, I will definitely do that. So this is the end, and yeah, thank you.